Watch how I gain control of the puppy. I grab her collar without letting her chew on my hand, and it's difficult when they're young. This is a dog that's under 12 weeks, but we've been working on this. Also, when I was picking her up when she was real young and running her outside, it would be the same thing. I'd pick her up, and then I would move the collar to the top and then clip it on, because if you go underneath, the puppy can grab at your hands. But she's picking this up, that it's unacceptable. And remember, it's a lot of muscle memory. You can't do this without having a big, fat, wide leather collar. Look at the big, fat, wide leather collar I'm using. It's an adult collar cut down for the puppy. If you use a nylon collar, puppy collar, you'll hurt the dog's trachea. You can't do this kind of training, and you're not going to get anywhere with your puppy. Trust me. And if you think you're going to use a harness, you're never going to get anywhere with the dog, because the puppy, it promotes bad behaviors with adults and puppies. Do not use a harness with your dog. Use a big, fat, wide leather collar like this that's made for an adult, so you do not hurt your dog's trachea. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I just did a video on this subject. You can go look. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't use a nylon puppy collar with your puppy. Take a little effort, make the proper collar. Now she is doing great. Notice my hand is out and I'm repeating the word, sit. You can do that when they're puppies. She's going to decompress right now. That was the whole session right there. Once again, I'm trying to gain control of the dog. I'm going to gain control by grabbing her collar without letting her chew on my hand. Don't turn things into a game. You can't do this unless you have the proper collar on the dog. I'm not bullshitting you, man. You use one of those little nylon collars, you're going to hurt your dog's trachea. Okay? This dog's fine. So at times, like, I might even, like, look. See, I'm kind of like pulling the dog up on the target. It's not hurting the dog. It's not. And just right after this session, the dog becomes totally compliant, meaning the dog understands that sit is an implied stay. So watch this. Notice how I'm doing like a half circle, saying sit, sit, going around the front. I'm trying to make it all the way around to the back. This ends up being sort of a long session. It might be a couple minutes or something. I'm going around the back. I'm trying to keep the dog at heel. I'm trying to encourage the dog to go up on the target. She's giving me a little trouble, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the puppy bumper. Now, this does cause a little bit too much excitement, so this will give you an idea why we're trying to use it, but we don't use it. So I haven't given up yet. I'm trying to get the puppy up on the target. The puppy went up on the target. That's good, so it was effective there. But if you see, the puppy's fixated on it, and it's going to cause too much excitement. There we go. So what I do is I put the puppy bumper in my back pocket. We'll try it again, see if the puppy will go up on the target. Pull her up on there. She's doing great, so we're going to do it a little bit more. See how I'm trying to circle the dog? I still can't get around the backside, because when you first start doing this, you go around the back, the dog turns all the way around. She did real good. I'm going to throw her a retrieve. Positive reinforcement. Well, I'll play with her as long as she plays by my rules. By the way, this is a dog that is under 12 weeks. Once again, I can't stress this enough. Like when the dog was jumping, if the dog would have jumped like that and you would have had a leather nylon collar on the dog, one of those puppy collars, it should be hurting her trachea. Get the proper material. If you don't want to cut it down, you're lazy. You should have never gotten the dog in the first place. So I'm going to spin the dog back here, right? And I'm going to try and get her up. Now, she's barking a whole lot. I'm going to bark back at her. I'm going to get real loud. She stopped. She started again. No. Real loud. Caused excitement. I'm spinning her around. That gave her a little startle. Watch this. So she becomes compliant at this point. She didn't get hurt. Why? Because she's got a big, fat, wide leather collar on.
That's good.
So look at her. See how she's compliant? She gets compliant from this point on. We don't have too much problem with her. We could have done this, this day's been great. She's picking up sit as an implied stay. We could have done this if we were using a nylon puppy collar. Okay?
There you go.
It's a subspecies of the wolf. People get with it. It's not a baby. It's a subspecies of the wolf. Oh, look at that. I just made it around. Notice how I'm leash flexing. She stood up, but she didn't turn around. I'm leash flexing, meaning I'm moving the leash and the collar up and down, reminding her that it's on. I have control. That's leash flexing. Notice the leash is going straight up. I'm making sure that she stays sitting. This is breakthrough. It's a breakthrough moment. So I give her the puppy bumper. That was good. That was an awesome job. I'm congratulating her, petting her, telling her good job. That's awesome. And once again, we're gonna take her over here. She's very excited, so I'm gonna take her off leash. I would put her in the crate and have her decompress for the next round of training. Notice that I even made it like a cave. Once again, I'm gonna get her out of the crate without her chewing on my hand. And sometimes it's difficult. You have to practice, and the dog starts picking it up. It gets easier and easier. Okay, so we're going to practice again. We're going to put the puppy back in the crate, right? We're going to close the door, and we're going to do it again. I'm going to grab her collar, right? She didn't get my hand. They start picking up on this. They start picking up on it. Now, what am I doing here? I'm taking the dog outside. I no longer have to pick the dog up and run it outside. I leash the dog up and walk the dog out briskly. I might even give it directions so that I know that it's not going to go to the bathroom. I'm not going to use the potty command, I'll tell you that. I'm just like, heel, come on, heel. Get the dog outside, and actually we've started making the dog sit at each door. So things are going real well with this dog. Things are going great. So things start getting easier. Like I said, this dog is under 12 weeks. If it was an 8-week-old puppy, I'd be picking her up, and I'd still be trying to put the leash on her without her chewing on my hand. It's very important. It's a lot of muscle memory in dog training. If you let the dog chew on your hand when it's a puppy, it's going to chew on your hand when it's an adult. It could end up being a biter. You need to stop doing that. Do not ever hand wrestle with your dog. Don't get on the ground and hand wrestle with your dog. Put the leash on the dog. Train the dog, and train the dog to retrieve and stuff like that. That's positive for your dog. Okay, so here we go. Here's the last session we did. Things have got changed drastically. The dog, you see, I can even have the leash loose. Notice the loose leash. And the dog is following my direction. I'm still habituating the word sit in, but I can make it around the dog. I can make it around the dog, and the dog does not get up and turn around. This is the same thing when you teach an adult dog this. You start going around the backside. They want to turn and watch you. Not this puppy. This puppy's awesome. This puppy's going to be a champion. Absolute. This puppy will catch a frisbee, do reverse retrieve. This dog is going to do so much. This dog's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Look at how she's picked up. Sit is an implied stay. Remember, you never say stay to the dog. It's built into the command. And that's why I'm circling the dog. I'm getting the dog used to the fact that it doesn't matter where I go. You stay sitting in that position. You do not leave that position. Do you understand? If you say stay to the dog, you're implying that there's something other than sit, and there's not. It's just sit, or it's just down. It isn't down stay, it isn't sit stay, it isn't heel stay. It's just the command itself until you give him another command. I hope that makes sense. But look at this puppy. This puppy's letting me walk around, staying in position. This is much different than earlier today. Earlier this morning, she was having issues. Now she's not. See if you're consistent. Notice how I put the dog in the crate? Right from the target. That's an awesome little dog.